Here's a question that James Head of Devon and online airgun shop Crackshot gets asked a lot. How do I custom build the perfect PCP?
First of all, I'd want to know what your application is for that gun. So are you using it for hunting, field target, hunter field target, plinking, what you want to use it for. Once I know what you're going to use it for, we can build what you need to build. Most of the guns, well, all the guns will come as a barreled action. So that means you'll get something like this, where you'll get the action, which is obviously the loading operation, and the barrel. So you won't get too much choice on that really. So you would have already picked it, or we can pick an action. If you're picking it out of one of the stock guns, you'll still get a stock with it, but that doesn't mean we can change the stock afterwards or during that building process. This is typically for target shooting, whether that be field target, bench rest, hunter field target. It's not something you particularly associate with hunting. Something like this FX Streamline here is a little bit more suited if you wanted something with a lot more adjustability. But then that's nothing to say that you can't put something more interesting on a bog standard gun that you would buy just off the shelf. We get these custom stocks built by Warren Edwards. So Warren Edwards builds our field target stocks. He can build in all manner of different shapes. So he can build the field target stocks, hunting style stocks. We also use form for some of the gun stocks, generally for the air arms and the BSAs. So again, that gives you a little bit of variety on particular models. So some of them have got adjustable lengths of pull. If you're having a fixed stock with just a fixed butt pad, he will take the measurement from inside of your elbow to your fingertip for the trigger, and he'll make a rough estimate of what he'll need for that, for your length of pull. You can also measure your hands and get the grip just right for your hands. Obviously, if you've got big hands, you want a fairly big grip. If you've got small hands, you don't need a massive great grip really. If you're looking at just a barreled action, I think the barreled actions start around they are around the 12 to 1300 mark before they've had anything done to them. So that's on the particular target type guns. If you wanted them tuned with quick fill and bits and pieces just to make that a little bit more user friendly, then the price does increase by another £250 to sort of £400 depending on what you want. Stocks start anywhere from about £700. That's just for like your bog standard stock. It may be a little bit cheaper depending on what type of wood you'll go for. This is popular, so this is one of the cheaper ones. It's for softwood, nice and light as well. But you can add extras, so hooks and stuff. So a full field target style hook with the underarm part for a bit more support. That's an extra 275. So the bar goes underneath your shoulder and this will go on top. So it will go something like this. I'll use one because it looks good. You can go for these slightly smaller HFT pads, which still do the same thing, go into your shoulder, but they do give a more relaxed fit. And that's also what they would say is HFT legal. HFT don't allow a long bar underneath a gun, but that can be used for all manner of different applications, whether you want to use that for hunting for a bit of extra support. I know a lot of people that do that, and it does just help them out in the field as well, just stop that gun from slipping around in the shoulder. We've got black ones as well, so obviously if you are looking for it to be a little bit more subtle, we can go for the black ones, and with this you can undo this and take this bar out, so that becomes dual purpose. Some of these will come with muzzle brakes on. You can add different muzzle brakes. A lot of the guns, air arms in particular, will come with like a little muzzle brake. Should you want to change that, make your gun quiet, especially if you're hunting. A lot of people want quiet guns for hunting or not annoying the neighbours, because neighbours don't like hearing guns go off apparently. You can add your different types of silencer. They start from like £40, end up, this is sort of mid-road, around your £100 mark, but they will go up to around the £200 mark, depending on what you go for. If you go for like a Donny FL with all the extras on it. Should you drop the gun bang on the barrel and you do end up with like you don't know what you're going to drop it on, you might drop it on a stone, affect that crown, you've got a massive accuracy issue. Some of the scopes will come with mounts fitted, generally the cheaper ones will. They just come as a sort of like a little cheap package, so it's ready to go. So if you're only looking for something just to get on and shoot with, you're not really too worried about optics, you just need a scope purely to do that job of looking through it to actually be able to shoot things, then these are sort of useful. Most of the top end scopes won't come with mounts. Leaves the option for the user of what they're going to use it on. Some people have Picatinny mounts, some have dovetail, all changes for what they're going to be using that gun or what gun it's going on. Some guns will come with a Picatinny mount as standard. It's quite good if you're changing between just having a normal scope and a full-on night vision unit, if you're not using like an add-on. If you're just going from night vision to scope and you just want to use the Picatinny mounts quick release, generally they can trot back in the same place without having to be re-zeroed. They do also lock up really tightly. Dovetail is probably more universal on air guns. It's probably the most used mount within most air guns. Nothing wrong with it, it's just that it doesn't offer that option of being able to pop it straight back on without having to re-zero with many shots or with no shots. To be honest, you don't really want to be having a, say, £1,000 gun, £500 scope bolted together with £10 mounts. It's just the trust. You can't trust a £10 mount. Something decent, something like the sports match mounts, I always find these to be absolutely solid. They lock up well. They're always true. I've not had an issue with any of these sports match mounts I've used in my personal guns. And they've all been absolutely spot on, and I've got a lot of trust in them. So I would say a realistic price range would be around the £1,100 to £1,200 mark start, going anywhere up to about £4,500, depending on the gun and what options you go for as well.
Is it fun putting together a gun like this?
Yes, and I like doing it for customers because I'm not building it. I've already built my custom gun, but I get to see other people's excitement when they're building theirs. So it's great fun. It's wicked.
Do they walk in with pictures saying, I want it to look like that?
I have had that, and I also had a massive great paragraph of what they wanted from a stock. So trying to depict all of that and work out what they actually wanted was quite good fun. The customer knew exactly what they wanted, but me trying to work it out, I'm a little bit simple, and that was hard work, but it was fun.
Now, you can save a lot of time and money, not do this, and just buy the gun that does it all, can't you?
Yes, you can.
Okay, show me that.
So this here is what I would say is the gun that has it all. So it's an automatic repeating system. So this is basically a semi-auto for air rifles. You've got a 10-shot magazine, you pop it in, rotate it up, and you can just keep firing that trigger 10 times. And as fast as you can pull that trigger, as fast as those shots will go. Match grade barrel, bullpup design, so you get a nice compact gun. So especially if you're going hunting, a bit of ratting and stuff like that, it does keep it down, and you haven't got massive great muzzle swing. So nice tight confined spaces. Couple of different rails, so you've got Picatinny rail along the top on this high bridge, should you want to get the right scope height, or you can mount it on the dovetails on the bottom if this is too high for yourself. You can get the half-inch adapter, so you can screw your silencer on as well. So yeah, it's probably one of the most versatile little guns that we sell. So the gun itself starts at 2895. Obviously these are all extras, so you're looking at 295 for the scope, and 55 for this little silencer, plus 35 for the adapter.
Can we do the whole thing for 3-1?
Yeah, we could do a deal.
For more about Crackshot, its range of air guns and the ranges in which you can try them out, visit crackshot.uk.